What is up, my Krakatugas? Caleb here from the Elestronauts, and today I'm going to be showing you my top 4 Krakatuga deck list. Krakatuga has never made it out of top 8 before in the history of Elestrals tournaments, but today we were able to break the curse and make it to top 4. So I'd like to go ahead and show you the deck list that was able to finally break that pattern and see top 4 for the first time. So let's go ahead and let's hop into this deck list here. Of course, we start off with our 2 Krakatuga and 3 Eruption. Something that you'll see as this list progresses, if you're familiar, is this is almost essentially Win the Sense topping list from past couple tournaments. He has piloted this deck very, very well at multiple tournaments, gone undefeated in Swiss frequently, and so I wanted to start off with a fairly solid core for when I was building this deck last night. I decided to play the tournament at about 2 a.m. instead of doing some other stuff I had planned, and very glad that I did. So I wanted to start off with a very well put together list. So obviously we went with Win the Scent because he's the Krakatuga GOAT. After our Krakatuga and our Eruption, we've got our 3 Smoltuga and our 4 targets for Smoltuga. I wasn't a huge fan of Warmite when I was building the list, but I decided to go ahead and try it out just for this tournament. I would definitely cut it going forward. When it came up, it felt really bad to have to normal cast this to then get the effect, so we cut this, but otherwise, these cards felt great overall. Up next, we have some additional waters that we're running. The 3 Galaxea work really well with the Smoltuga. We've got 3 Foamy to get into Galaxea or Mustation, and the 1 additional Foamy target in the form of Veritaqua. Phenomenal card. It is a great little tech piece that sometimes comes up. Mustation, I drew into this multiple times and was able to just sit on it. It is a house. It's very difficult for most decks out there to get around it. And Foamy, we've talked about this in the past. Elestrals players tend to have a difficulty dealing with these cards because they're afraid to beat over it and give you value. So Foamy is phenomenal in this deck because even if my opponent doesn't beat over it, I can just go into Krakatuga anyway. So it's a phenomenal card to just sit on or get value if your opponent does actually decide to punch into it. So those are our Elestrals. We'll go ahead and look here at our runes. These are our Invoke runes. These are all the ones that we ran today. We've got the 3 Ambrosia, 2 Nectar, and 3 Resting. Ambrosia is phenomenal. Despite the fact that this deck is trying to burn your opponent, you have to pay spirits to cause your opponent to burn. So you want to recover that sometimes. And sometimes you'll probably end up getting rid of your fires maybe a little bit faster because most of your waters are getting you the utility throughout the game. So you may end up needing to recur some fire in order to get back cost for eruptions. We have 2 Nectar here. I've thought about playing 3. I've even got it right over here sleeved up. I was going back and forth right before decklist submission. I think that I would play 3 going forward. Cut the Warmite, play a 3rd Nectar. This deck will just be phenomenal. Then 3 Resting. This is something that I go back and forth on. It is great if you are playing into a field of a lot of people that are on Divine runes. People are playing Demeter, people are playing Zeus. Phenomenal card. If you're playing against people that aren't on this, or aren't on those things, Resting becomes a lot more difficult to play with and try to manufacture a situation where you can activate it. It played very well for me today, but I know Swole was also on Krakatuga. Resting did not do him well. So this is sort of a your mileage may vary type of card. And then from there, our counters. This is just the most standard thing you'll ever see. If you look at any deck, you probably will see these exact same 11 cards. I don't really want to talk about them too much because they're counters. They're phenomenal. You want to be playing basically as many as possible, except for PTA, because it's the weakest link of the bunch. Can we just admire those Shattered Stars? Anyway, so that is our main deck. Let's go ahead and let's look at the Spirit deck really quickly. Let's go ahead and let's get the little weirdness out of the way. We are running 4 Taratlus. You will see that I did not run any green cost cards in my main deck, so this might be confusing. It'll make sense when we get to our side deck. I wanted to play with the side in mind. I really am not a fan of siding spirits too much in the current metagame, so I wanted to just go and play the Taratlus in main and side the earth cards that are relevant instead of having to swap in my Taratluses as well. Then from there, we've got our 8 Vapyro, and we've got our 8 Leviathan. This is mathematically correct. I am thinking about doing a video where I talk about how to make your spirit decks. I have an equation I've come up with. I'm a mathematician, if you're not familiar. I've come up with an equation that calculates an optimal amount of spirits to be playing in different ratios. It came up with it back in August, but what I've been using to make all my decks, and yet again, it has proved itself to be correct. This felt phenomenal. 884 was just perfect. If you're interested in learning about that equation, learning about how to optimize your spirit decks and optimize spirit utilization and play on the field, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll probably be doing a video like that. Let us know if you're interested in a video like that sometime in the future. So that is our spirit deck here. let's go ahead and let's look at our side deck, because we did actually use a side deck. We made it to top cut, so we got to use our side deck of 3 Earth Scouts, 2 Earthseers, 3 Viceroys, 2 Earthquake, and then 2 Warmite. I did summon bears. The thumbnail is not baiting. The title, if it's in there, is not baiting. I did take bears to a top 4 finish in a webcam tournament. I did cast Earth Scout 2 times. They didn't matter. They were insignificant. They didn't matter. Earth Scout didn't get me any value. This was something I really want to try out. I like the idea of trying to side out all the Krakatuga stuff, side out most of the burn stuff, and just try to play a sort of like board control strategy where I just generate advantage with these guys and try and just have a lot of board presence. It'd be really hard to deal with and control the board state. Now, Krakatuga does that well enough on its own. And when I sided into this in my top 4, it clogged my hand with bad cards, and it didn't really do what I wanted it to do. Really, I just wanted to be able to say that I topped with bears. It doesn't matter that they were insignificant. They were in my deck list. So we did that. I mentioned this earlier, but the Earths in our Spirit deck are here with our Viceroys and Earthquake. Overall, these cards here are bad. Do not play bears or Warmite. These cards, I probably would try something like this again. And so there you have it, my top 4 Krakatuga deck list. The only reason I made top 4 is because I played the mirror in top 8. This deck will not be able to convert well in top cut. It has not been able to convert well in top cut. The only reason I was able to make it to top 4 is because a Krakatuga list was making top 4 because I played the mirror in top 8. This is a phenomenal deck. I was blown away by how fun it was, even for having never played it before today. It really was fun. I think it's a very interesting deck that creates some very interesting game states and boards to play through. It's very interactive, and I think I've become a Krakatuga fan. I might be playing this again in the future. Probably not at a tournament, because it just doesn't do well in best of 3, and I'd like to make it further than top 4 top cuts in the future. But if you're interested in a fun little deck to piece together, this is it. It is wonderful. The main deck is just rock solid. Phenomenal deck. Played very, very well. Highly recommend this to anyone that's interested. Great deck. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.